Hello, this video is for the juniors. It's for your first quiz of your fourth unit, which I believe is 4.1.4. And this unit is called The Influence of Science and Technology. And it talks a little bit about making predictions, so I'm going to talk about that some. So when you're reading fiction or nonfiction, whether you are consciously aware of it or not, you are often making predictions, and that you base those predictions on the things that you see before you even start the story. Maybe the trailer if it's a movie, the cover, the title, the back blurb if it's a book, And sometimes our predictions are, they end up being wrong because the author let us gave us what's called a red herring, which is like a false clue. So sometimes we end up being wrong, and especially when you're thinking about literature, that's part of the fun of the story is being misled. But so we're making predictions, and we make it based on evidence we see, and that ends up being wrong. But you don't want to make predictions that are completely unfounded. Like say you haven't ever read The Hobbit or watched the Hobbit movies before, and so you think, so you start the story, and you're like, okay, there's hobbits, there's elves, there's magic. I think there are going to be spaceships soon. Now that's you don't want to make predictions that are completely unfounded. You want to make them based on clues that are in the story. So in this unit, at some point, you're going to read a story called The World Without Us by Alan Weisman. Just listening to the title, The World Without Us, what sorts of things might you be? Anyway, I haven't read it yet, but I'm assuming that it's going to be something about the world getting by without human beings. I don't even know if it's fiction or nonfiction yet, but we'll see. So that's just an example of making a prediction. So also some predictions that you make as you see the title and things like that. What kind of story will it be? Not just the title, but other things about it. What kind of story will it be? What will the characters be like? When or where will the story happen? What might happen next? And if I was in the story, what would I do? So the unit is the influence of science and technology. And so we're going to talk a little bit about science fiction now. The book Fahrenheit 451, which is a book about a futuristic society where they burn books and have changed history, making claims about Benjamin Franklin that we currently don't believe about him. So in that story, they were burning books, but that was the story that the author created was based on some current fears at the time. Authors used the future to explore the present. This was written, I think, in 1955. I forget, but anyway, it was written after World War II, when the Nazis had been burning books, trying to crush a certain way of thinking and control information. So before you take the quiz, I want you to read a story called Exhalation by Ted Chiang. And then there are 3 poems that I want you to read, and they're in Apex, so you'll see them there. And Exhalation is also there, so you'll have that to read. I want you to read There Will Come Soft Rains by Sarah Teasdale, The Last Wolf by Mary Tallmountain, and Homework by Allen Ginsberg. And I want you to see the similarities between these 3 poems. They're a similar theme that runs through all 3. See if you can see the similarities, the differences. What is the main theme of all 3 of them? And then also think about the Industrial Revolution. What did that do to the world? There's a video that I want you to watch before taking the quiz. It's called The Historical Context of Environmentalism. And also, green literature is a genre that sprung up from our building concerns about the environment. There are fiction and nonfiction in this particular genre. And Edward Abbey was an author of such literature as was Rachel Carson. She wrote a book called Silent Spring. Edward Abbey, I think it was this class where we talked about his essay on the Glen Canyon Dam, which created Lake Powell, and he didn't like it because in his thinking, it destroyed this beautiful canyon to create this lake. But anyway, green literature is a genre that explores how important it is to keep a healthy environment. Also, in nonfiction, writers sometimes write chronologically from beginning to end of a continuum, kind of like fiction writers, but also sometimes another common structure is they use cause and effect. This happened, and as a result, this happened. And then this happened, and as a result, that happened. So that's a common structure in nonfiction. And hopefully that will help you with your first quiz of Unit 4, you juniors, which is 4.1.4.